shower, got suited up, went to their job interviews, and got the jobs.
2 lives changed thanks to a suit of clothes. And now this warehouse sits ready to help change a lot more lives. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
A new census shows the San Fernando Valley has seen a 35% rise in homelessness since last year. But Councilmember Paul Krikorian says that could be because officials have found newer and better ways to count the homeless. Well, we finally have a winner in the contest to determine who will renovate downtown's Pershing Square. Expect a much warmer vibe at the park when the revamp is completed. Gil Reyes has more from Pershing Square. Gil.
That is right, Yana. After more than 50 international submissions, you are looking right over here at the winner, tasked with the duty of transforming the city of LA's oldest park. Much of the old, drab concrete in downtown's 150-year-old park is expected to be history soon.
Our goal is to once again create a great, open, and inviting public space.
Downtown Councilman Jose Huizar helps unveil the winning look in the Pershing Square Redesigned Contest. The winners, a firm called Agence Terre, based in Paris, has big plans, like replacing the park's concrete with a rectangular lawn facing the Biltmore Hotel. Expect outdoor movie screenings here and other special events. The team also plans to slice off the top of Pershing Square's parking garage to create a continuously flat surface. On that surface, a walkable moonlight garden and other themed gardens to stroll through.
Agence Terre will open an office here in downtown, so the entire design team will always be locally present.
An 8-month contest with dozens of competing firms came down to 10 companies and finally just 4. Some of the other entries may have appeared greener, sleeker, or more environmentally friendly in their designs, but the Pershing Square renewed jury says the final choice came down to simplicity and what appeared to be the most realistic plan of the final 4. The jury picked Agence Terre unanimously. Their winning design also includes a smart canopy. This canopy along Hill Street will light up the park at night and provide shade during the day.
This is an example of where we should look back at this process and say, how can we continue to repeat this across a lot of the parks across the city?
A date to start construction has not been determined, but Councilman Huizar hopes to have a new Pershing Square unveiled to the public in 2019. In downtown LA, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The renovations are expected to cost $50 million. Funding sources are expected to be announced at a later date. While a piece of spacecraft has literally floated in from the sea at Marina del Rey, and it is set to become a part of space history for future generations of Angelenos. Anna Marcos has more on the arrival of ET-94.
The first shuttle flight blasted off from pad 39A at KSC on April 12, 1981.
For the second time in several years, a chunk of NASA spacecraft history has landed in LA. This giant external tank, known as ET-94, was built to help launch the Space Shuttle Columbia, but was never used. Now it has come by sea all the way from New Orleans through the Panama Canal to its new home in LA. For many Angelenos, it's a big deal.
It's just awesome to see something this size and the fact that we have it here in Los Angeles to experience. It's part of history.
I think it looks like a Twinkie.
We're privileged to get this in LA, and it's going to inspire a lot of the kids to go into science.
I missed the shuttle when it came through the streets of LA, and I said, I'm not going to miss this.
Like the Space Shuttle Endeavour 3 years ago, ET-94 is set to take a ride through the streets of LA before ending up at the California Science Center, where it will eventually go on permanent display with a shuttle, complete with rocket boosters to form a full-stack shuttle exhibit. Mayor Eric Garcetti couldn't resist a romantic metaphor for the occasion.
The space shuttle's been lonely. She needs a recoupling with an old flame.
No one in America can say they have this except the California Science Center.
Imagine all the lives that will be touched Imagine the young minds that will be challenged.
At 66,000 pounds, this thing is about 15 stories tall if you could stand it up. It's NASA's last remaining external tank in existence. Normally, they get destroyed after the launch of a shuttle.
We really wanted the real tank. We knew there was this one tank left.
The tank will go on limited display, but fans will have to wait a while to see the full stack exhibit. The California Science Center has to raise funds to accommodate the massive display at its Samuel Ocean Air and Space Center. It could take 3 years before the public gets to see the historic display in its full glory. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The California Science Center is now halfway to its $250 million goal. Anyone who wants to help fund the full stack shuttle exhibit can text ET94 to 41444 to donate. Well, thousands of Prince fans turned out for a free concert to honor the late musician's life. Gil Reyes has more from the celebration in downtown.
An estimated 5,000 fans, many of them dressed in purple, gathered outside City Hall to celebrate musical royalty.
In the end of his career, he did things like fund our schools, fund activism, and he helped save the Fabulous Forum. And so we want to have a tribute that's fitting to the gift that he was to this city.
Councilman Marquise Harris Dawson helped organize the City of LA's official tribute to Prince. Artists Eric Benet, Marva King, Aloe Black, B. Slade, Faith Evans, and more performed some of Prince's biggest hits. Prince Rogers Nelson, a 7-time Grammy winner, an Oscar winner, and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, died in April at the age of 57. The night we learned, City Hall glowed solemnly in purple lights, his signature color. Days later, a more festive mood. Topped off by a surprise performance by Stevie Wonder. At City Hall, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Stevie Wonder told the crowd, quote, "What an incredible life and legacy he gave us." While free food, free R&R, and free academic and job opportunities are part of the plan in the Get Summer program. Anna Marcos has more on the joint effort created just for teens by city and YMCA officials.
All right, so let's get summer.
It's a solution to what city leaders call the summer melt, which affects so many LA teens.
They become less physically active, they fall behind academically, and it results in about 10 to 20% of students returning to class at a lower academic place than where they ended.
The new Get Summer program aims to freeze that melt. Teens will get to grab a big chunk of summer opportunities as the YMCA of LA teams up with the city. All 26 YMCA branches in LA will be open for free in June and July to teens between 12 and 17.
Thousands of teenagers, maybe even tens of thousands of teenagers throughout metropolitan Los Angeles can take Pilates classes, use the pool, shoot hoops without spending a single dime.
There will also be free lunches from the LA School District, but this won't be all fun and games. Free academic help and free job opportunities are also part of the program. These young people are about to report to work for their first job.
I don't know how many of you here know how important it is to have your first job, but I recall my first job was in the summer, and it was a recreational aide. That was the first time I got a paycheck, and I was one of 7 children. I can't tell you how proud I felt.
Some students have already taken advantage of what the YMCA offers.
Thanks to the YMCA, I have been able to break out of my shell and become a much more confident person and much more involved in my community.
We are building a Los Angeles in which parents don't have to worry in the summertime. Where's my kid? What is she doing? What is he doing? Where are they at?
And of course, parents won't have to worry whether their kids are learning or not.
We are on an irreversible equity mission towards 100% graduation.
And the other mission, to stop summer melt dead in its tracks, has begun. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Mayor Eric Garcetti aims to create 15,000 jobs for youth this summer. That's 5,000 more jobs than were created last summer. Well, officers at the LAPD's Wilshire area station recently dedicated a gift for the community's children that will help their imagination soar. Rich Samuels explains.
It might make me a little bit smarter because I like to read books.
Kids living near the LAPD's Operations West Traffic Division now have a little free library right in their own backyard. Thanks to the spirit of community policing and the nonprofit Literacy Club, kids have easy, safe access to their favorite books.
So the Literacy Club is a charity here in Los Angeles, and our focus is primarily around optimizing the future through literacy and books. And so one of the ways we do that, one of the key ways we do that, is by creating these little free libraries that we pop up in community locations throughout LA.
The library was created in memory of Officer Van D. Johnson, a traffic officer who lost his life in 1997.
We talk about LAPD family. We need to always practice what we preach in that, and that's our physical presence here and now, remembering anniversary dates and remembering ways in which we can allow memories and legacies to live on.
Okay, what do we got here? Let's see.
Dr. Seuss once wrote, "The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go." Thanks to the LAPD, kids have a new place to launch their adventures. This is Rich Samuels for LA This Week.
Local kids are invited to stop into the Wilshire station and take or return a book anytime. While bump outs, curb ramps, pedestrian-activated crosswalks, it may all sound like street improvement lingo, but it also means safer streets for both kids and residents along a busy intersection in Silver Lake. Anna Marcos takes us there.
A snip of the ribbon in these revamped crosswalks and streetlights just made the walk to school a lot safer for students near the corner of Sunset and Mitchell-Torena in Silver Lake. The improvements were funded through the Safe Routes to School program.
Well, a lot of these cars go very fast and sometimes do not stop.
Even for kids?
Sometimes.
As you can see, Mitchell-Torena Elementary is right behind us, so the safety of this busy intersection is crucial for the children. One of the big improvements is the repainting and realignment of this crosswalk. It used to end up right here on this driveway, which made it very dangerous, but now it's been moved over with ADA ramps added for the disabled.
Yeah, they changed the crosswalk so it would be safer now.
Other improvements include new lighting at the historic Mitchell-Torena stairs, and there are newly planted trees, wider sidewalks, and 50 synchronized traffic lights to ease traffic flow along Sunset.
Mitchell-Torena is a steep hill. People tend to just run and race to the light. So by putting that bulb out there, they were able to move the stop sign out further into the street for more visibility.
The whole area is safer. It's more well lit, it's safer for pedestrians, and it encourages more pedestrian circulation, which is what we want.
So now, instead of a mad dash to avoid the cars, walking to and from school or on the stairs will be a walk in the park. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
City leaders have also installed a bike corral at Mitchell-Torena Elementary so that more kids will bike to school as well. While religious and city leaders highlight LA's diversity during Religious Pluralism Day, a soon-to-be-launched city website seeks to make it easier to get new businesses off the ground, and a special honor for one of the most influential men in Los Angeles. All these stories in City Beat. Mayor Eric Garcetti joined the Los Angeles Human Relations Commission and around 70 interfaith leaders and community members at City Hall recently to commemorate the second annual Los Angeles Day of Religious Pluralism. Garcetti spoke about LA's rich and diverse cultures and how those differences can connect us all.
We're blessed equally so to have each other. These representatives are just emissaries to get us to the faith that ultimately is about the interactions we see with each other, reaching out our hand to someone different, reaching out our souls to someone different, and finding the common ground.
The City of LA is testing out a new business portal and startup guide for small business owners and entrepreneurs in LA. The site is business.lacity.org, and is currently in the beta phase. The portal is a new resource that's being developed to help business owners navigate registration processes, permits, and resources from one location. The official launch is scheduled for September. Los Angeles City Council member Jose Huizar joined the Hirsch family, former City Controller Wendy Gruhl, and others to dedicate 9th and Los Angeles streets in downtown LA's fashion district as Stanley Hirsch Square. Stanley Hirsch, one of the forefathers of downtown Los Angeles, was a philanthropist, real estate investor, and garment manufacturer. Hirsch, who passed away in 2003, was known for a straightforward approach as well as his contributions to the Jewish community and the city of Los Angeles.
It's just such a very special day for my dad and all of our family. A long history downtown, and he made such an impact, and it's just great to be part of that legacy.
Not only what I got from this was somebody who really, truly loved the city of Los Angeles and would do anything that he can to make it even better.
Council District 8 Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson and other city officials dedicated the new Manchester Neighborhood Greenway in South Los Angeles recently. This project converted an existing, neglected pathway to a low-maintenance green walkway. Other improvements include new native shade trees and tree wells, security fencing and gates, and solar-powered lighting for pedestrian safety. Officials say the new greenway will help capture urban runoff from the 110 freeway and surrounding streets, removing oil, grease, metals, trash, and other pollutants before returning filtered stormwater to the storm drain system.
Make sure that we eventually one day get to the point where all of our on-ramps and off-ramps are usable spaces that capture the water.
For many Angelinos, the wonders of the sea seem far away, but the truth is they're right in our backyard. Rich Samuels has more.
It's a hermit crab in an odd shell.
At the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium in San Pedro, the sea is at our fingertips.
This is just a little small guy. He's a brown sea hare. Some days these guys are common out here, but I've done walks where one day we see like 20 of them, the next day we come out, we might find 2.
Carl Carranza, along with his colleagues at the aquarium, share the wonders of the tide pools near Point Fermin.
We take people into our auditorium, do a slideshow to introduce them to the animals and the tide pools themselves, and then we take them out to the physical tide pools, which are about 300 yards away from the aquarium here.
Oh, they're huge. Touch it, it feels so sticky.
We've never actually been to tide pools. I lived in California pretty much my whole life, and I'm really excited to see what we're going to find.
The tide pools offer a protective habitat for a variety of animals and seaweeds, from feather boa kelp to the occasional octopus.
The more people are aware of all the different things that live in the ocean, the more likely they'll be inclined to help protect it.
From the Cabrillo Tide Pools in San Pedro, this is Rich Samuels for LA This Week.
The Cabrillo Marine Aquarium has been connecting Angelinos to the sea since 1935. We'll celebrate the people who are making visionary contributions to life in downtown LA. If you love vintage modern design, check out Downtown LA's Modernism Show and enjoy a country fair with a bohemian flair. That's all this in this week's Things to Do. On Memorial Day weekend, the Los Angeles Poverty Department is hosting the 2016 Walk the Talk Parade. Make your way over to Skid Row for this biannual parade that honors people who have made contributions to Skid Row and benefited the community in civil rights, housing, public health, and environmental issues. The parade will feature live performances and will start at USEP's corner space and end on the west side of Los Angeles Street. The walk takes place on Saturday, May 28th at 12 p.m. on Skid Row. For more, visit lapovertydept.org. Vintage modern design takes center stage during the biannual Downtown Modernism Show. Take a leisurely stroll through 5 acres of 20th century furniture and housewares. The show and outdoor modernism event will feature valuable vintage designs from shops and collectors and more than 60 dealers from California and beyond. There'll be specialty food and drink vendors on site, in addition to ample free parking. The show takes place on Sunday, May 29th at 2901 Seco Street in downtown LA. Visit downtownmodernism.com for more details. And get in touch with your bohemian side at the 43rd Annual Topanga Days Country Fair and Fundraiser for Topanga's Community House. Over the years, Topanga Days has grown into LA's Bohemian Rock Music Festival and has become so much more than just a fundraiser. The weekend festivities are a mainstay event that embody a music lover's way of life, welcoming new listeners and paying homage to the roots of Topanga's musical history. There's a belly dancing show by a local teacher, pie eating contests, kids games, and more. It'll all take place Saturday, May 28th through Monday, May 30th at 1440 Topanga Canyon Boulevard. For more, visit topangadays.com. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
It all started that one day. I knew then my destiny. To have a career where I can achieve my best, where every day is different, where lifelong friendships are made, where I'm saving lives and inspiring others. My name is Mackenzie Vandergeest, and I am a Los Angeles firefighter.
Hi, I'm Kevin from Chatsworth, offering you a taste of New Orleans since 1986. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel.
Good morning. Good morning. Today's date is Tuesday, May 24th. I want to welcome each and every one of you to the Los Angeles City Hall and to your council meeting. This council, again, meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. All are welcome. Madam Clerk, we have a quorum. Could you please call the roll?
Blumenfeld, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Fuentes, Harris, Dawson, Weezar, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 10 members and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. First order of business.
Approval of minutes.
Mr. Price moves and Ms. Martinez seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Englander moves and Mr. Bonin seconds.
Mr. President, today is Tuesday and time for the flag salute.
Okay, why don't we rise? We'll be led by Mr. Price and today, Mr. Kern Price in today's flag salute. All rise.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Want to thank you for that, Mr. Price. Madam Clerk, let's run through the agenda.
Mr. President, there is a request to refer item 23 to the Budget and Finance Committee.
Okay, without objection, that will be the order.
Items number 1 through 8 are items for which public hearings have been held. The committee report for item number 6 has been submitted. However, item number 5 should be held on the desk until such time the committee report has been circulated.
Okay, let's do that. Let's see if members have any questions. I don't see any. Why don't we prepare to vote on those items? Let's open the roll. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Continue.
Mr. President, items 9 through 22 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Mr. Weezar.
Number 17 for Mr. Koretz, please.
We'll hold 17. Members, any other requests?
Mr. President, there are cards on item 9, 11, 14, 17, 18, and 21.
Okay, let's hold those items and 19 and 20. Does that leave anything left for us to take action on?
Mr. President, what's available to vote is number 10, 12, 13, 15, 16, 19, 20, and 22.
No, I held 19 and 20. Okay, no problem. So let's vote on the remainder. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
That brings us where?
That brings council to closed session, sir. Items 24 and 25.
Why don't we hold those items and afford us a little time to see what the chair of Budget and Finance recommends. So where are we now? We'll hold those two items. So where are we now?
That takes council back to presentations, items called special or public comment.
Mr. Huizar. Mr. Huizar?
Are we ready? We're ready.
We're ready for your presentation.
Thank you very much, Madam President, and it gives me a great honor to be here this morning to acknowledge one of the most recognized television personalities that we see on television each day. And what better way to wake up this morning on our first council meeting of the week with some mariachis. So let's give the mariachis a big round of applause. Muchísimas gracias. And it gives me great honor to recognize somebody that for 30 years has been a leading journalist and a trusted voice and friend to our Latino community, including the large Latino population living here in the city of Los Angeles. And I want you to once again please welcome our journalist, television personality, author, and Emmy Award winner, Maria Celeste Herradas. Welcome. Born in Puerto Rico, Maria Celeste was a champion amateur swimmer who won a gold medal at the Central American and Caribbean Swimming Championships and qualified for the 1976 Summer Olympics in Montreal. She went on to attend Loyola University of New Orleans, where she earned a degree in communications and graduated with honors, and really began to thrive in a career that would be her life calling. She established her award-winning reporting skills early on in Puerto Rico as a local reporter for Canal 24. Her hard work paid off when she was hired by Telemundo's New York affiliate, and in 1994 went on to work for Primer Impacto on Univision, where she had much success before rejoining Telemundo in 2002. In addition to leading the news magazine Al Rojo Vivo con Maria Celeste, Maria Celeste is a co-anchor of Telemundo's flagship daily newscast, Noticiero Telemundo. And today, my friends, Maria Celeste reaches a daily audience of about 35 million viewers in the United States and 15 Latin American countries. Wow, that's impressive. She is also a familiar presence on English language television, where she has served as guest anchor on NBC's Today Show and is a contributor to Dateline and NBC Nightly News. As if that wasn't enough, Maria Celeste is a dedicated animal rights activist and environmentalist. But most importantly, she is a proud mother of 3 children who, as her autobiography notes, she writes about how she balances a busy workload with family life. Her show, Al Rojo Vivo con Maria Celeste, is airing today live from Grant Park, here right outside these council chambers, and we invite everyone to go and take a look at this show that airs nationally. So, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great honor to present to you one of the most known television personalities in the Latin American continent, here North America and South America and Central America, Maria Celeste. Welcome to Council Chambers. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank to all of you for having me here this morning, especially you, Councilman Huizar. It's an honor for me to be here. And I want to start by thanking the Mariachi Sol de Mexico for this beautiful music that, you know, always, like he said, it's a great start to start with mariachi music, and also my Al Rojo Vivo team, which is here today, as happy as I am because we share the same victories and the same emotional moments. And now I'm going to speak in Spanish for the benefit of our Telemundo camera, because this is going to be in our show today. So, les voy a contar un poquito por qué para mí es tan emocionante y especial este momento. Hace muchos años, en la década de los 80, debido a mi trabajo, me tuve que mudar aquí a la ciudad de Los Ángeles. Y cuando llegué, para mí fue un cambio muy drástico porque había dejado atrás a mi familia en Puerto Rico y en Nueva York. Y era la primera vez que vivía en la costa oeste. No conocía a nadie. Vine como una reportera con mucho entusiasmo, muchas ganas, pero ciertamente asustada porque era para mí un nuevo mundo. Y me mudé a un apartamento que tenía, nunca me olvidaré, 525 pies cuadrados. Era un estudio, 4 paredes. Y tuve que trabajar bien duro. Recuerdo que las llamadas editoriales nuestras eran a las 4 de la mañana, porque obviamente eran las 7 de la mañana en la costa este, y era la hora que empezaba a trabajar. Y terminábamos muy tarde en el día, así que fueron muchos años de mucho trabajo, pero en el proceso conocí a mucha gente linda, y en el proceso esa muchachita que llegó aquí asustada, se enamoró de California y se desarrolló como persona y como profesional. Y yo acepto hoy este reconocimiento en nombre de aquella chica asustada que fui y que dejé de serlo precisamente porque tenía grandes sueños, muchas ganas y le puse mucho empeño. Así que a nombre de ella, muchas gracias por este reconocimiento.
Well, thank you very much. And for those of you who don't speak Spanish, it would take me a while to interpret that. So we'll get you the tape with subtitles at the end. But thank you so much, and thank you for being with us. Y de parte de la ciudad de Los Ángeles queremos darle las gracias, también el reconocimiento por todo lo que ha hecho por la comunidad latina y para nosotros. Usted es un gran ejemplo de lo que uno puede obtener en este país trabajando con la comunidad y ser orgullosa de ser latina. Claro. Muchísimas gracias y felicidades de parte de la ciudad de Los Ángeles.
Aquí, claro.
Gracias. Vamos a ir atrás por acá.
Mr. Huizar, that was quite an entrance. Felicidades, Maria Celeste. Many, many more years for continued success to you. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Madam Clerk, there's 12 members present. Can we reconsider the ordinances?
Yes, that would be item number 2.
Okay, so we have item 2, Madam Clerk, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Very well.
Madam
Forthwith for Mr. Krikorian.
Madam President, there needs to be another vote for the ordinance itself.
Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Madam President, the report for item 5 has been submitted by the committee clerk. If council would like to vote on that, it may.
Okay, let's open the roll on item 5, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Let's move on to item 19. Yes,
Madam
Mr.
Chair, can we send that forthwith? Urgent forthwith.
Forthwith for Mr. Rue on item 5.
Madam President, urgent forthwith requires a vote.
Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Thank you. Let's move on to item 19.
Item 19 was called special by the council president.
Okay, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Let's move on to item number 20. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Let's move on to item 9.
Madam President, item 9 is called special by cards.
Mr. Walsh, item 9. Is Mr. Walsh here? Yes, he is.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. Number 9, again, this is Rent Escrow Account Program. When you do a good job, I'm the first person to get up and tell you that you've been a friend to the renters. You haven't expanded rent control, but you haven't destroyed it. We have this REAP program. We really have Mayor Bradley to thank for. These are a number of addresses where the landlord has not kept the property up according to code. And in Los Angeles, you don't pay your rent anymore to the landlord. You pay it to the city till the landlord brings everything up to code. And the landlord is really fast, I can tell you, when the landlord stops getting the rent. Before, no. HollywoodHighlands.org.
That concludes cards on this item, Madam Clerk. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, let's move on to item 11.
Madam President, item 11 is called special by cards.
Mr. Walsh on item 11. Mr. Walsh on item 11. Please come forward.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Jay Walsh, confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. This concerns preferential parking. Now, I hope if you have a long enough memory, about 2 years ago, there was a gigantic scandal here. You can look it up and Google it. I don't have the time to go into the exact details of the preferential parking scandal. When you see the word exemption, that means somebody has bought the exemption. Some corrupt contractor or others have bought an exemption. Anytime you see categorical exemption from LADOT, relative to the establishment of temporary parking. And I just want to say it means that white people west of La Brea can park in front of black and Hispanics' homes, and they don't have to give a damn. And nobody is 100% in favor of it except the phony blacks and Hispanics up here.
Okay, let's prepare to vote on the item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, let's continue.
Mr. President, item 14 is called special for cards.
Okay, so on item 14, if we could have Ms. McAllister please come forward, followed by Mr. Walsh. This is on item 14.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we know, illegal aliens are the reason why we have millions of Americans living on the street here in California and across the United States. Me being a former teacher, I know that the school system here, Los Angeles Unified School District, and they have published it, it's about 90% Hispanic. 90%. So the children of the illegal aliens are taking over our schools. They have taken over our schools. I don't think that our schools should be a safe haven for illegal aliens and their children. I think that when Mr. Trump gets into office, we need to go into those schools. If those parents want their children, take them out and deport them all. I'm only taking a minute on this because this is a very important topic. We should not be sheltering illegal alien children in our schools. They go there, they get a free education, free food. As far as their immigration status, it's their business. Let's deport them and their parents. Thank you.
Mr. Walsh, please come forward. Item 14, Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. LAUSD employee and now on pension, over 25 years with the district. First of all, there are no illegal alien children. There may be alleged illegal alien children, and there may be children of alleged of children. I just want you to know the Murphys fought in the Revolutionary War for the right to people to come to this damn country. Long before any of you were here, the Murphys were fighting. And we will always stand up. See, you want to point me as some right-wing crazy when I am the one who stands up for all the children. There are no illegal aliens. There are illegal borders. And none of you will get up and say that Donald Trump is a piece of fucking shit because you suck his cock.
Let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
We'll go to item 18. Ms. McAllister.
I disagree with increasing the California low-income housing tax credit to $300 million. This council and this city government and in the law department, they're not keeping track of these units. When I say these units, these affordable units, these developers and the owners of these properties, they let the low income move in for about a year, and then they increase the rate of income, and they kick out tenants. I know this for a fact. They kick them out, and they also still get the tax credit. We need a division to overlook this and to stay on top of this to make sure that these landlords are letting poor people live in these affordable units. I know for a fact that the Glow apartments right on Wilshire and Bixel, they did the same thing. They kicked them out after a year, gave them some money to leave. They said, hey, we'll give you a couple $1,000s if you leave. I know. I met with some of those people. Some of them took a couple of $1,000s, and they left. And then they raised the rent up to $2,200. You guys are not keeping track of this, and the legal department was notified about this upstairs, and they did nothing. I have letters showing you how I wrote them, and they wrote me back saying, in so many words, that's tough. Okay, so we don't need to give them more tax credits. We need to monitor what they have currently. Thank you.
Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate.
12 ayes.
That's approved. We'll now move on to item number 21. Mr. Walsh, I have a card from you on item 21.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, at J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. This concerns the Conflict of Interest Code for the City Ethics Commission. The City Ethics Commission is perfectly invisible. I remember when it was formed, and it really fought under Bradley to keep the ethics under control. The City Ethics Commission is a bunch of limp dick idiots. And I don't use the word idiot very often, but these people do absolutely nothing. As far as conflict of interest, they stand behind every conflict of interest. Relative to approval of amendments, where are the amendments? The amendments aren't here. The amendments aren't on the agenda. Hollywood, Highlands.org, City Ethics Commission, abajo.
Thank you. Let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote. We'll move on to item 17. Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. The February 13th death of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Scalia meant that there was a vacancy on the highest court of our land. The process for filling that vacancy is long established and pretty simple, involving the President nominating someone and the U.S. Senate then acting on the nomination. In this instance, the President has nominated an extraordinarily qualified person in Judge Merrick Garland, who's the Chief Justice of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. But the Senate has so far utterly and completely failed to do what it was elected to do with the matter of filling a Supreme Court seat, being one of the most important duties of the Senate. Unfortunately, after the passing of Judge Scalia, it became clear that the U.S. Senate was unwilling to do its job of holding hearings on the presidential nomination to fill that now vacant seat. It's important to recognize that issues before the court often directly affect the city of Los Angeles, and so having a court that may be uncertain, tentative, or frequently deadlocked at 4-4 does a disservice to all of us. Of course, it's no secret that this choice by the Senate is the result of a political agenda on the part of one party, but the public, meaning all of us, has a right to expect better. And those senators who are stonewalling on this issue are claiming they have history on their side, but they're twisting the facts. Yes, it is rare to see justices appointed in a presidential election year, but that's simply because vacancies at that time are relatively rare. There's nothing in the Constitution to justify a senatorial stall. Indeed, the Senate has confirmed more than a dozen Supreme Court justices in presidential election years, including 5 in the last 100 years, and has also confirmed nominations when there's been a politically divided government, as was in the case of Justice Kennedy's confirmation in 1988. So now in 2016, President Obama has done his job and done it well in nominating someone to fill that seat who is an absolutely outstanding jurist. Indeed, in the past, he has been supported and praised by the very same Republican senators who now stonewall his nomination, hoping that if they can kill a year of the public's time, they may wind up with a Supreme Court justice chosen by President Trump. But putting politics aside, as we need to do when something as important and as momentous as a fully functioning Supreme Court is before us, it's inappropriate for anyone to believe that the U.S. Senate can completely avoid what in fact should be a sacred obligation. But to change that dynamic, we may need a public clamor, and so our voice as the council of the second largest city in the country needs to be heard. I'm a firm believer in the premise that the U.S. Supreme Court is the high court of the land and not a toy or prized possession of one political party. And I likewise believe that the U.S. Senate needs to do its job, and we need to demand no less of it. We should not settle for a Supreme Court hamstrung by political mayhem. And so for all those reasons, I urge you to support this resolution, because the nation certainly deserves to be about the law of the land, and people deserve a Senate that does its job and puts duty over gamesmanship.
Thank you, Mr. Koretz. I do have some cards on this item. I think it's Kristen from UCLA School of Law. Kristen from UCLA School of Law. And a Sam Ehrman. Please come forward. Yes.
Mr. Chairman and members of the Council, thank you for allowing me to speak to you today about Chief Judge Garland's nomination to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. I had the honor and privilege of clerking for Chief Judge Garland from 2008 to 2009, before going on to clerk for Justices O'Connor and Sotomayor of the Supreme Court. Chief Judge Garland is a brilliant and fair-minded jurist, and he would be a tremendous asset to the Supreme Court. Over his 19 years of service at the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit, Judge Garland has built a well-deserved reputation as a consensus builder and someone who commands universal respect from his colleagues and from the litigants who appear before him. His meticulous attention to each and every case before the court means that he often knows the factual record and the legal precedents better than the litigants themselves. But he is unfailingly humble and respectful of litigants, court staff, his own staff, and everyone who encounters the D.C. Circuit. Serving on the Supreme Court would be the culmination of a long career in which Judge Garland has dedicated himself to public service. Before becoming a judge, he served in the U.S. Department of Justice and was the lead prosecutor on the Oklahoma City bombing case. His commitment to public service is something that he impresses on his clerks in the course of giving them career advice, and it's something that he himself goes above and beyond to fulfill in terms of community service. As has become well known over the last few weeks, he's spent decades tutoring elementary school students in Northeast Washington. Chief Judge Garland could not possibly be more qualified for the position of Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, and he deserves a hearing and a prompt vote. The Supreme Court has a key role to play in the federal government and in this country as the final arbiter of many legal disputes, and it can only fully play that role when it has a full complement of 9 justices. I hope that the Senate will hold a hearing and a prompt vote on Judge Garland's nomination and show him the same respect and collegiality that he embodies himself. I thank the Council for its initiative in putting forward this resolution, supporting a prompt Senate hearing and vote on Judge Garland's nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. So if I can get Mr. Ehrman, followed by Mr. John Walsh.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak here today. I, too, clerked for Judge Garland the year after Kristen, 2009 to 2010, and she said many of wonderful things about him, so I'm going to say a couple more personal things. I learned more about being a lawyer from Judge Garland than at any other point in my legal training. He is a remarkable mentor, and he is a careful and a fair jurist like none I've ever seen. He is profoundly respectful of the people he works with and has been a force of consensus. And as a former clerk of his, I'm someone who's a big fan. I think he would be a great addition to the Supreme Court. I want to add a point just about the resolution that's being put forward and to say the Constitution sets up a system where the President and the Senate work together to staff the Supreme Court. It's part of how the checks and balances and separation of powers works. And what we're seeing now is the Senate refusing to play its role, and that leaves the Supreme Court short-staffed, and it also sets a bad precedent. And the main check in the Constitution on this kind of behavior is a check by us, the people. That's the first defense of this. So we can register our disapproval at the ballot box and in constituent letters, but also through resolutions like this. And so I just want to say, to express my support for this resolution, to thank the Council for considering it, and to urge the Council to go forward with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And as Mr. Walsh is coming forward, we just got a group of maybe 15 to 20 young visitors, so we're going to find out what school you're from and then announce that you're here. So I'd like the sergeants or someone to find out where these wonderful young people are from. And Our Lady of Lourdes and Tahunga. So let's give them a round of applause. Could we show them on television? And what grades? Third grade. Welcome to City Hall. Mr. Walsh, the floor is yours.
Clerk, this is my fourth minute. If it's not, I want to see a note from you. This concerns Merrick Garland. Of course we're for Merrick Garland. He's a believer in the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects us from politicians when we insult them. You don't have that any other place.
Stay on the subject.
I'm talking about Merrick Garland and his qualifications. See, that's what they do to me. They try to stop me from talking. Merrick Garland, 100%, would believe in the right for anybody to draw a swastika. You have swastikas all over the
Stay on the
library.
subject, Mr. City Attorney. This is your last warning, Mr. Walsh.
I am talking about Merrick Garland's nomination. I am talking about Merrick Garland's nomination. I am talking about Merrick Garland's nomination. I want the people in here to see what fascists they are.
Okay, Ms. McAllister. Item 17, I have a card from you. Or unless it's the wrong item, I do have a card from you on item 17.
I know what I'm going to say. Okay, item 17, Supreme Court position. Oh, no, I disagree with this. President Obama, I don't think we should be taking any nominations from him. I think he's incompetent. He's a racist. The only thing he's done for this nation is increase the number of cancer patients. It's been reported that the anus of the cancer is on the rise in our young people and homosexuals.
This is not
Let's stay on this subject.
So I don't think we should be, I think President Obama should have been impeached a long time ago. We should not accept any nominations from him whatsoever.
Thank you. Let's prepare to vote on the subject. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, we're going to move now to item 24.
Mr. President, item number 24 is item scheduled for closed session.
Okay, so I have a card from Mr. Herman. In fact, I'll go to Mr. Krikorian first to kind of set this up for us.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President. First of all, item number 23, I understand, has already been referred to committee. Is that correct? Okay, so items 24 and 25 are both set for closed session, but they're ordinary settlements that could be considered in open session and voted upon unless members have questions or concerns. There's no need from my perspective to go into closed session on those.
Thank you. So Mr. Herman on item 24.
This closed session matter revolves around a gentleman by the name of Mr. Snow. Not Mr. Spindler, but Jeffrey Snow.
Stay on the subject.
At the Los Angeles Superior Court
Mr.
case.
Herman, stay on the subject.
Correct, sir. BC 556334. Mr. City Attorney, would you please correct me under the American flag? Did I pronounce those numbers and letters correct? Thank you, sir. This matter arises from an accident that occurred at 4:20 a.m. No, it arises from an accident that occurred at 4 p.m. It shows you how unsafe we are to hold the Olympics and hold any event to protect ourselves from such matter of cases
Get back on topic, Mr. Herman.
on the northbound State Route 110. Now, Mr. City Attorney, should I pronounce that as the Old Pasadena Freeway? I maneuver a vehicle through that passage on a timely basis. It's very narrow, dangerous, and I can see how this relates to the incident of Jeffrey Snow, this American who got injured on a Caltrans highway here in the United States of America, in the state of California, within the grounds of Los Angeles. Now, caution you that anyone who drives recklessly is involved in this issue. But now the correction of the matter is, did this American, at fault or not at fault, get himself into some trouble here, Mr. Jeffrey Snow? I say,
Thank you. Thank you. Your time's expired. Okay, no, you're disrupting the meeting. Your time's expired. Let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll.
Mr. President,
Yes.
just for the record, item number 24 is a case entitled Jeffrey Snow et al. Versus City of Los Angeles, and there is a recommendation to expend $150,000 in settlement.
Okay, so on that item, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote. Okay, now we'll move to item 25. Mr. Spindler, I have a card from you on item 25. Please come forward.
Mr. Speaker, I put that as AKA Herman. Would you address the card, please?
You have to, first of all, do not shout from the audience, and you need to state whatever it is on your mind where it relates to this public comment.
Now, the Brown Act 54950.9, parentheses here, under parentheses 1, is to confer whether legal counsels relative to this case is entitled to Alfonso. Are we not all under the Brown Act, Ralph M. Brown of Modesto, California?
This is not the
But this
topic,
issue
Okay,
is
so
about Alfonso.
you're off. No, you're off topic, Mr.
I am building my case on this.
No, you are off the topic. So get to the topic, or you
So
can
the
sit.
matter arises from a discharge of a former Los Angeles police officer who I attended this morning's police commission meeting on behalf of Wayne Spindler.
Okay, you're off. You are off the topic. Your time's expired. Members, let's prepare to vote on this item.
Mr.
Let's. No,
President?
no. You are now disrupting the meeting. Go sit down, Mr. Herman. Let's open the. Yes,
Mr.
go ahead,
President,
Madam Clerk.
For the record, item number 25 is a case entitled Alfonso Villaneda versus City of Los Angeles. There is a recommendation to expend $156,436.86 in gross back pay.
Okay, let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay, that brings us where?
Mr. President, that brings council back to general public comment.
Okay, so let's start off with Mr. Walsh and a Marcus Masante. Please come forward. Followed by Ms. McAllister.
At J. Walsh Confidential. Number one, anybody but Englander for supervisor. If you have your ballot, mail-in ballot, put it in now. There is now a new BRU. The Bus Riders Union has disbanded. We represent the new Bus Riders Union, and the issue is no on the new half-cent sales tax, R2. If you want to see a lot of swastikas, go to the library now for the exhibition that glorifies Hitler, the man who killed my relatives in Hungary, glorifies him. Swastikas all over. Is it psychotic ravings? No, none of you will go there, and it's taxpayers' money. for Heil Hitler. Look at them all at no other city in America, you vomitous scumbags, pre-Hitler.
Thank you. Your time is expired. Yes, sir. Please come forward and identify yourself, and you'll be followed by Ms. McAllister, followed by Ms. Richardson.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Council members, Marcus Musanti. I come before you this morning on behalf of the people of Wilmington. I don't know when the last time you were there are. I've been spending the last several months there, and there are good people. They're very, very hardworking. The family unit is very strong, and it's a poor city. But yet we have big oil, Tesoro, which is Texas Fortune 100, that is now carrying out the second half of their plan, which is trying to bring together all of these refineries. It would be the largest around. And Tesoro's good. They put up their banners in the schools, and I appreciate the jobs. But this is the 44th Congressional District. It's Watts and Pedro and Southgate and Carson and Compton. And we are not a big oil type of district. There's no leadership. No one says anything about Tesoro. They even take money from Tesoro. But if I'm back in 2 weeks, we're coming back in a big way. My name's Marcus Musanti. Thank you.
Thank you. So if I could get Ms. McAllister, Ms. Richardson, Jacqueline Richardson, please begin to make your way down, and Mr. Herman. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. I again would like to speak out for the Los Angeles Unified School District teachers. I substituted for them for 7 years. Those are some dedicated teachers. Back to LAUSD and CalSTRS, the California State Retirement System, embezzling teacher funds. They didn't know, after I inquired with an FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, they didn't know that I was a programmer. So they gave me the database specifications. I compared that with my own retirement system information and found out that they are violating the database rules. They are changing the status code.
Mr. Herman, sit down. Hold Ms. McAllister's time. Look, show her respect. Sit down. Ms. McAllister, I'm sorry. I'll give you an extra few seconds. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. They are changing the status code of teachers, thus reducing their retirement. For instance, if you're a teacher, they'll change your code to a part-timer, and then that reduces your service credits, and that's less money you get. We need a federal investigation of CalSTRS and LAUSD erroneously taking funds from teacher salaries. Thank you. And Mr. President, I apologize for what happened to you.
No. That's okay.
Okay.
Thank you, though. All right. So, Ms. Richardson, Mr. Herman, you're last. Ms. Richardson, please come forward.
I only know a little bit. These organizations take bribes. The LA Times, LAPD and the Vice Squad, Channel 2, 4, and 7, I don't know what the others do. LAPD Vice Squad, LA Times, the Orange County Register, FBI, CIA downtown Los Angeles, FCC, INS, Obama. Two Chinese ladies told me that they had to pay to get here and they didn't like it. The Russian people also kicked some people who've been downtown Los Angeles in one spot for years. And they put themselves in the same spot. That wasn't fair for those people that had been in for years. As one member of the Vice Squad said, that was a good bribe.
Okay, now Mr. Herman.
Mere speech does not constitute an actual disruption simply because the U.S. Ninth Circuit's ruling of 2010 of government officials must tolerate offensive or irritating speech. It does not mean constructive speech. Do not use disruption, Herman. Do not use disruption, Herman. Do not use disruption, Herman, to suit your needs. Free speech is a fundamental right of citizenship. When you kick I out of meetings and then you falsely perjury your name on city business. So get your act together, Herman. Put your true name on all documents so we know that the true meaning behind the Continental and Wayne Spindler are untrue. He's been coming to all meetings. Never then was he a racist. Never then did he care about being a racist, and nor will he ever be a racist.
Thank you. Thank you. Your time is expired. Thank you. Okay, that concludes general public comment. Where does that take us, Madam Clerk?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
Okay, they are posted. They are referred.
That clears the deck.
Announcements, members, announcements. Okay, if I could now ask everyone in the chambers to please rise. Everyone in the chambers to please rise for adjourning motions. Everyone in the chambers, please rise for adjourning motions. I am going to look to my left side as Mr. Blumenfield's side. I don't see any to my left. I'm now looking to the right side. Mr. Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, today I ask that we adjourn in the memory of Jim McMillan, who passed away last week. A former Columbia University men's basketball standout and a 9-year NBA veteran, Jim McMillan passed away at the age of 68 on May the 16th. He was born in North Carolina, but raised in Brooklyn. He was an All-American, All-City, and a high school All-American at Thomas Jefferson High School in the 9th District. After high school, he led a distinguished career at Columbia University. At the conclusion of his Columbia career, McMillan scored 1,758 points, a school record, since broken by Buck Jenkins, who played 4 varsity seasons. Drafted in the first round by both the Los Angeles Lakers of the NBA and New York Nets of the then ABA, McMillan chose the Lakers and spent 3 years in Los Angeles, scoring 3,700 points, an average of 15 points per game, and winning the NBA title in 1972. McMillan was a tremendous contributor to the Lakers' success during that championship season. On November the 4th, 1971, Laker and NBA legend Elgin Baylor announced his retirement. The next night, McMillan stepped into his starting position at forward and provided a 22-point, 13-rebound performance to lead a win over Baltimore. It was the first of a 33-game win streak, still the longest in pro basketball history, and McMillan starred through it all. After the Lakers, McMillan played 3 seasons for the Buffalo Braves, now the Los Angeles Clippers, averaging 16 points a game, and 2 years with his hometown Knicks. He completed his career in 78-79 with the Portland Trail Blazers. He retired with 8,700 points and 3,300 rebounds in 631 games for an average of 13.8 and 5.3 per game. His 800 career free throw percentage ranks amongst the NBA's best. In 2006, McMillan was inducted into the inaugural class of the Columbia Athletics Hall of Fame as an individual and as member of the 1967-68 men's basketball team. McMillan is survived by his wife Alexis, son Aaron, and daughter Imran. May he rest in peace.
Thank you, Mr. Price. I'm continuing to look to my right side. Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wasn't here for part of this, so I don't know if I'm duplicating one. Has anyone adjourned yet in memory of Eric Bradley? No, okay. Well, Eric Bradley was someone you likely would have known if you were active in the LA County Democratic Party's Central Committee or if you attended any of its meetings because he was a fixture there for many years. He passed away suddenly this past Sunday when he was only in his early 50s. He's a well-known Democratic activist with a lifelong commitment to social justice. Worked tirelessly in many, many campaigns and attended many meetings. Was always very willing to speak up if he thought there was an issue that needed addressing. Long Beach Mayor Robert Garcia said Eric was the guy when it came to the Democratic Party in Long Beach, and he always organized and worked with tremendous dedication to help elect people he believed would make a difference for the better. He was well respected and revered as a community activist and leader in Long Beach and throughout the county and Democratic Party circles, and he'll be much missed by those of us who believe in grassroots democracy.
Thank you. Still any more? I don't see any. Members, this meeting is adjourned.